Black Lives Matter. I can't breathe. Justice for George. These are all the sayings that have been echoing throughout our nation over the last 7 days. When on May 25th at 9:25 p.m., a 46-year-old black man was pronounced dead in Minneapolis at Hennepin County Medical Center. That man was George Floyd. George Floyd was met by officers for allegedly using a counterfeit $20 bill. Allegedly. He remained both civil and respectful as he was being detained by officers. But this is the United States of America, where white supremacy drools at the opportunity like this when they are presented it. This week, Derek Chauvin, fuck his name, is the newest face of systematic racism, as he chose to use his position of power to send a message to America that he knew was watching, as he and his other fellow police officers saw several bystanders recording and pleading for him and his partners to stop or to do something, as George Floyd would not live. Floyd himself gasped, "I can't breathe." And the officer, Derek Chauvin, felt the best way to handle the situation was to continue to keep pressure on Floyd's neck, causing his eventual death from asphyxia, or in regular terms, suffocation. Now, today is June 1st, 2020. That's my opening statement. I thought I should have something kind of structured to start this episode off with, because I'm not really sure where it's going to go after that. And I just wanted to give some context at the beginning, because I know some of my viewers are younger. I know some people aren't probably dealing with the social issues that all of us so-called adults are. The only way you probably haven't heard these stories or any of the riots that have ensued after the fact is, if you are living under a rock, as we were just discussing off air right before this. Later this episode, we will be honoring George Floyd by giving you 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence, because that's how long Derek Chauvin felt it was necessary to press his knee on George Floyd's neck. Now, there's a lot of discussion about this, a lot of experts, if you will, on Facebook that are sharing and reposting different memes and different sayings that support whatever view they have towards this, which, when you really think about it, there is only two views. Either you are actively racist or you are actively against racism. But yeah, there's a lot of people posing their views, and we're going to get into all of that in just a minute. But first, and forgive me for how long this is, or actually maybe you should try and forgive America if you can. I want to read you the list of all of the people, all of the black men and women that have died from racial injustice in the United States of America. Just their names. And then we'll get into the people of Facebook's wise words of wisdom towards the topic. Let me start at the beginning here. Eric Garner, John Crawford III, and sorry if I butcher some of these, Michael Brown, Ezel Ford, Dante Parker, Michelle Cussix, Laquan McDonald, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Gurley, Tamir Rice, Ryman Brisdon. Also, John wrote these, so I'm not, handwriting he's been out of school for a while. Jermaine Reed, George Mann, Matthew Edgebade, Frank Smart, Natasha McKenna, Tony Robinson, Anthony Hill, Maya Hall, Philip White, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, William Chapman II, Alexia Christian, Brendan Glenn, Victor Manuel LaRosa, Jonathan Sanders, Freddie Blue, Joseph Mann, Salvador Elswood, Sandra Bland, Albert Joseph Davis, Darren Stewart, Billy Ray Davis, Samuel DeBose, Michael Sabby, Brian Keith Day, Christian Taylor, Trey Robinson, Ashams Fora Manley, Felix Kumi, Keith Harrison McLeod, Junior Prosper, it looks okay. I can't tell what that one is, John. I'm going to say Lawrence Jones. Hopefully, I didn't butcher that. Patterson Brown, Dominic Hutchinson, Anthony Ashford, Alonzo Smith, Tyree Crawford, India Kager, Levante Biggs, Michael Lee Marshall, Jamar Clark, Richard Perkins, Nathaniel Harris Pickett, Benny Lee Tigner, Miguel Espinal, Michael Noel, Kevin Matthews, Betty Jones, Quintonio Legrier, Keith Childress Jr., Janet Wilson, Randy Nelson, Antonio Scott, Wendell Celestine, David Joseph, Kalen Rogan Moore, Oshman Perkins, Christopher Davis, Marco Loud, Peter Gaines, Torrey Robinson, Darius Robinson, Kevin Hicks, Mary Trixio, DeMarcus Semir, Willie Tillman, Terrell Thomas, Sylville Smith, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Terrence Crutcher, Paul O'Neill, Alteria Woods, Jordan Edwards, Aaron Bailey, Ron L. Foster, Stephen Clark, Antoine Rose II, Botham Joan, Pamela Turner, Dominique Clayton, Etayang Jefferson, Christopher Whitfield, Christopher McConvey, Eric Reason, Michael Lorenzo Dean, Brianna Taylor, George Floyd. I think there's not even some on there. Upsetting how long the list is, Choppy says. Yeah, absolutely upsetting. It's disgusting. Sickening. So, I wanted to say those people's names so you got just a little bit of an idea, a little taste of what's going on, what's wrong. I'm like shaking after reading that. So let's get into some of the specifics here of the case before we dumpster dive through people's horrific takes on social media. Derek Chauvin, prior to this incident, which is the police officer in question, had 18 complaints in his 19 years of duty, was disciplined twice for some of those complaints, and is now charged with third-degree murder. And just to also point out here, none of the other 3 cops were charged with anything. Fired, yes. Charged, no. I think that's absolutely disgusting. And while we're on the topic, I want to point you guys to the description below. Even if you stop watching this to go do any of these things, I linked below several different pages, some of them petitions, others places you can donate to help be that other group that I mentioned earlier that is actively fighting racism. The petition, the first thing that you'll see in the description is the petition for George Floyd, for justice for George Floyd. It says everything in there. It basically explains what I just did and why it needs to be signed. I believe it's the fastest growing petition of all time. I don't know if it has the most signatures yet, but I know it's the fastest in the amount of time that it has been available. And there's also other ways to help that these are all linked below, which you can either sign petitions or donate to. The Black Lives Matter link below, Communities Against Police Brutality, Minnesota Freedom Fund, George Floyd Memorial Fund, I Run with Maud, Black Visions Collective, Reclaim the Block. All organizations trying to do a good thing. So, where is the division that is being shown to us, right? Where is this line in the sand between people? Now, maybe it's just because I myself, and I'm sure like many of the people that watch this show, because let's face it, it's pretty local based. We have a lot of people that look like me, right? A lot of people that are white, a lot of people that don't understand what these people are going through, couldn't comprehend the pain that they've felt. So maybe that's why we're seeing the kind of shit that we're seeing from these people. But let's look at some of their arguments, right? So people will say, this is what, and I will be giving specific examples later in the show. People will say that not all cops are bad, and just because there is a couple bad apples doesn't mean that we don't need cops and that all cops are evil. And those same people will turn around and explain to myself and shout at the top of their lungs on social media or out in public that these rioters, all these people rioting, are promoting the stereotype, and they're not going to accomplish whatever it is they seek because of what they're doing and the way that they're going about it. But using your own logic of that not all cops are bad because it's only a couple, how are you to then go and say that these instances where there are riots make up the entirety of the protests? How do you do that? How do you say that to those people? Right? Now, I'm going to pull up Facebook here because it's absolutely disgusting. I feel bad for anybody. I know, I forgot who I saw. Some people had birthdays today, and I'm sorry that I didn't say happy birthday to you guys. I just didn't feel it was appropriate today. And I don't mean to take away your birthday. It just isn't a good day. So let's see here. I saw earlier today that Martin Luther King, and it's that famous picture of him and all the people protesting on the march, forget which exact march it is, holding hands together and explaining how this is a protest. And then it scrolls down and is people raiding Target and explaining how this is a crime. Now, I'm not quite sure if you guys know or are aware, but that guy in the top picture of that infamous meme at this point, he got killed. He was assassinated by white people because of what he was doing. The people that are telling you that this is not the right way to protest were the same people explaining that how Kaepernick was trying to protest was wrong. These are the same people who, had they been alive when people were doing sit-ins during lunchtime at all-white diners, would have been explaining how that's the wrong way to protest. Let that sink in, right? That was illegal. It was illegal to do that. It was illegal for those African Americans to sit in those diners, to sit in the spot on the bus that they wanted to sit on. That was illegal. Just because it's the fucking law doesn't mean that it's right. And the people that are arguing for this, the people that are so adamant that this is a crime, this is so bad, this is so evil, are the same people who were crying because they were starting to get a little shaggy like myself and couldn't get a haircut and couldn't go to the mall, get their spray tan, get their nails done. These are those same people, right, who were saying the exact same thing I'm saying now when the stay-at-home order was put in place, that just because the government's telling us that that's wrong doesn't mean it's wrong to be out of our houses, right? I believe that's what they were saying. But now it's wrong to do that, right? It's wrong to protest. I think that people are forgetting what a protest is. And I think that they're also forgetting that when you share the post of Martin Luther King and try and explain how much he changed the world by peacefully protesting, and then we flash forward to June 1st, 2020, and police are shooting people with rubber bullets who are peacefully protesting, and then trying to loop in all those people that are rioting, that the couple bad apples with the rest of the protests. It's mind-boggling, dude. It's mind-boggling. They will sit there and explain how that is wrong. It's wrong to protest. I think what I was getting to is that I think you guys forgot what a protest is. If the government, as in your president, Donald Trump, is agreeing with your protest, then I don't think you're protesting. In what world, if I am against something, should those people, will that system that is trying to hold me down literally put knees on my neck? In what world does that system want me to protest? Want these people to protest? And when I say, and I'm going to say we a lot during this podcast probably, and I don't mean we, I'm not saying we as if I'm a black person. I'm saying we as I'm a mad person as well as these people. I share their anger. I share their frustrations, and it's disgusting. I share their distaste for what's going on. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Now, there are a couple people who deserve some spotlight today. Let me pull it up real quick. Well, maybe I won't even say the person yet, but let's just pull it down. Well, first off, let's see. Tell me if this is not offensive, and then after I've shown you maybe 10 or so that this person has posted publicly on social media, so I don't give a fuck if I end up dropping their name and they're upset about it. I'll show you a couple of things that this person is sharing around. This person, who is white, by the way, and has lived in a 2,000 square foot house their whole life. While y'all looting, steal a job application too, motherfuckers. Picture of a gun here. You can protest all you want, but fair warning, if you decide to block traffic or attack my car with me and my family present, I will drop your ass where you stand. I will protect them with deadly force, so you better think twice. Is your protest worth your life? Yeah, dipshit, it's worth their life. It's worth all of our lives. What life is worth living if you're not going to be treated fucking equally? And also, while we're talking about protesting and how wrong it is to protest and how it's illegal to steal shit from these businesses and to break in whatever, was it legal? Was it legal to dump thousands of pounds of tea off of a boat? I don't know if it was thousands of pounds, but I know they got all that fucking tea the fuck out of here. Was that legal? And we champion those people. Our founding fathers, we praise time and time again. That's people. That's the whole thing. Is this blind admiration for this flag because of these people, these great people. They were opportunists. They were smart. They were smart for their time. But don't for a second think that those people were not racist. Don't think for a second that the original versions of the Bible had verses and stanzas explaining the logistics of buying and selling slaves. These people stealing from these stores, right? That's the whole big thing. Is these people are criminals. They're stealing. And feel free. I'm sorry, and I'm going to be getting emotional. And I'm going to share a personal story later as we get into this podcast. But feel free to express anything in the comments, guys. If you have any questions or you want to ask me anything about this, feel free. These what was I just talking about real quick? Did you the was the Revolutionary War. Just wanted to make sure. So flashback before that, right? Or right after that. So did we or did we not steal this land that we now call home? Yes, we did, right? Now, I'm not condemning America for that, even though many will and many probably should have the right to. Did we or did we not steal human beings from another continent and bring them here to build said country? Did we or did we not promise these people, I think it was it their 40 acres and a horse, every African American once slavery was ended, right? And here's the thing that I don't think people will understand, and I don't think that they can understand, and that's where I get scared with this whole thing. I don't think the people that are sharing these ignorant things on Facebook, that are expressing themselves in the worst way possible. I don't think those people will understand, and that's what scares me. I really don't know how else to make them understand. I don't. One of the greatest ones on that they are sharing that I don't think they understand exemplifies the problem with them. By them, I mean these people that think that racism is non-existent. Is it goes something like, you see a black man murdered by a white cop. I see a bad cop murdering an innocent man. We are not the same. You're right, we're not the same. We're absolutely not the same. I don't want to be the same as you. That's ridiculous. You're ignorant. You're ignoring what's going on. You're ignoring the issues. Oh, so also too, I was supposed to have a guest on this week, right? Last week we were supposed to have Latrell on. He was busy, and my other friend who was going to be on the show actually a long time ago, Ben McDonald, very outspoken, intelligent, African American man, good friend of mine. He was going to be on the show tonight. He thought that it would not be the best for him to be on tonight because he lost his voice yesterday. Why did he lose his voice yesterday? Because he was fucking protesting, screaming at the top of his lungs for justice. And you know, when we're talking about the stores, right? We're talking about these people who didn't say shit for days on social media when George Floyd was murdered. But then the first time that there is any report of looting, now feel that call to action to really let us know that they need to fucking stop doing this, that this is illegal, this is too far. So what do you want? You want them to just keep chanting, right? So you could just keep ignoring them. I was in Lake Geneva this weekend. I had to go through Lake Geneva to go pick something up from a friend. And I was just disgusted. And it's not these, it's the fact that these people have no idea or don't care or have the fact that they have the option, the privilege to not care about these issues and enjoy their fucking weekend away in paradise while other people are being shot with rubber bullets, tear gassed until they are blind, and otherwise being oppressed on a day-to-day basis. And people are upset that they are stealing items that these corporations have insurance for. And here's the thing. I know that some of the businesses are small. I know some of that. And I know that it's definitely unfortunate. It's not what you want, right? I'm not saying that you should be looting stores. But if African American people who were taken here against their will, forced to build this country in order for that Target to fucking exist, want to go break that fucker down and burn it to the ground, I have no problem with that. I don't care. And if that makes me fucking crazy, then I'm sorry. Now, I've got a comment here from Matthew Noel. I feel like the violent protests, breaking into buildings, riots, etc. isn't the right way, but anyone to question it, please tell us a better way that works to go about all this. Exactly. Because you know what? Like I mentioned earlier, they're saying that that's the wrong way to protest. But when Kaepernick was making a stance, that was the wrong way to protest. When LeBron James was making a stance and the entire NBA were making stances, that was the wrong way to protest. When MLK was protesting that y'all all want to conveniently quote now, that was the wrong way to protest. Do you get the picture? Black people built it. If they want to take it away, they can and should. The government's not working for them. The system's not working for them. It's not working for anybody who really wants to see what America is supposed to be about. And the people that don't see that are absolutely ridiculous. And there's a couple other things I want to go over real quick that I know people had said before I get into a couple of other things. Alrighty. It's really sickening. It really is, and it's hilarious. I'll tell you that one of the things that that is so fucked up is that these people that I had in civics classes or social studies classes who were failing barely passed because it was high school and the teachers gave them extra busy work to count as extra credit to give them a D. These are the people with these very outspoken opinions that are, extremely educated. Black lives don't matter to black people unless killed by a white person. Y'all not ready for that conversation. Y'all kill each other all day, every day. Wow. Wow. I don't think you're getting the point. First off, people die every day from lots of different things. White people kill white people. White people shoot up fucking schools. But we don't want to do anything about that, right? But we want to try and delegitimize people's rage and them hurting, their pain, because some black people kill black people. Do you know why maybe they might be under that kind of stress? Could it have anything to do with the fact that their ancestors were forced to be here, forced to pick cotton to make the shirts that our ancestors wore? And so when slavery was ended, did we give them like a, hey, here you go, we're on equal playing field? Did we give them anything to close that gap? No, I just said, you're free. You're free. Figure it out. I've already got years and years and years of being free ahead of you, but good luck. You'll get it. Do people not see the fucking issues? And you know what else is? It's disgusting I'm seeing police officers getting fucking hyped up, getting jacked up to go into fucking battle against these people with no fucking weapons. No fucking weapons. There's video on Twitter. I don't obviously have the handle, but I'm sure I can find it and I'll retweet it later. There's video on Twitter of police officers literally listening to AC/DC, getting fucking jacked up to go shoot protesters with rubber bullets, sitting there smiling, swaying back and forth, getting jacked up with his fucking rifle to go shoot rubber bullets at people. What more do you need? What more do you need? Edith Rita says, even the small businesses have insurance. It's supposed to be about equality. Yeah, it is. And to be honest with you, I don't, again, just same as Matt said, and I think I said earlier, it's not that anyone wants there to be looting or for the country to be burnt down. But what else are we to do? What else are people to do to get this across? Because it's not working. It's not working. The term black on black crime has a white history as well. I'm not sure what you mean exactly by that, but I would love if you would elaborate. But I believe you 100%, because I think the fact that we force these people to live in, my take initially, which I was trying to get to a minute ago actually before I got sidetracked, was that we force these people to live under extreme stress and with extreme trauma their entire lives in places that people shouldn't have to live, in situations that people shouldn't have to endure. And you don't think that anyone's going to get hurt. It's crazy, dude. This year has been so appalling for so many different reasons, and this honestly being the worst to myself, and not because it's not like this shit has just happened this year. It's because it's been made so blatantly okay. It's so accepted for these people to be downright racist in whichever way they please, because they've never seen a black person, or maybe they have on TV, never talked to a black person, never actually been friends with a black person. And it's disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me, these people that live in fucking bumfuck Twin Lakes, Wisconsin, speaking on social issues like this. Now, not, including myself, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, this is where I want to get into, and Johnny, feel free to let me know exactly what you were talking about if that wasn't it what I mentioned. But while he's getting to that, I'd love to talk about a story that happened to myself personally. As I mentioned, my friend Ben, who was protesting last night in Janesville. I lived in Janesville for 2 years um, with the rest of the basketball team. Ben was on my basketball team. That's why I'm wearing this shirt today, UW Rock County Athletics. This shirt was bought for me by a man, Jamal Mosley, African American man who was my head coach my freshman year, college. He bought these shirts with his money for the entire team as our warm-ups because there wasn't enough budget in the there wasn't enough money in the budget. Now, he not only led us to the best record in the conference, well, in the entire league actually, until he was forced to resign. Not only led us to the best record in the league, but also helped many young African American and white kids like myself learn how to live on their own, learn how to be better with finances, helped guys out with money when they needed it, gave guys rides, helped guys get signed up for classes and get educated on the world that they were all preparing to enter as young adults. Not only did he do all of those, but he led us to the best record, right? So then we're playing a game up in Waukesha. And Waukesha is not really that great of a team. We are beating them by 20-something points within the first 5 minutes of the game. So he pulls myself and the rest of the starters. These refs then, all three of them being white, proceed to call 11 fouls straight on our team. It's 11 fouls to no fouls. Now, I'm not trying to make this a big basketball thing, but just listen up to what happens here in a second. I only know the exact story because I'm sitting right behind Jamal, and that's the only reason I keep the fact that we were up by 20 in at the beginning of the story. I'm sitting behind Jamal on the bench next to the rest of my team, and we're sitting behind him watching this unfold as the 11 fouls get called, and then Ben, who I said was protesting yesterday, African American male, is then called for a technical foul because he smiled at a referee after the referee told him, because Ben was called for a reach in. He said, "What do you mean?" And the ref said, "Not another word." Ben said, "Okay." Was given a technical foul for the smile. Then my coach, Jamal, asked the referee for a reason on the technical foul. The referee replied to him with, "Boy, get in your box. Get back in your coach's box. Boy, sit down, boy. Don't make me do, boy, get down, get back. You need to show me some respect, boy." Now, this is a 40-some-year-old grown-ass man, African-American man. He says, "You need to show me some respect. I'm not going to be talked to like that." Because if you don't know what boy means in reference to an African-American, please look that up. Because I'm not going to say what that is. The referee gives him a technical foul. So we go on to lose the game by a couple of points due to kind of the BS, right? The game ends. We shake hands with the players. The referees, who usually shake hands with everybody as well, sprinted out to the hallway. Now, Jamal needed to get the referees. They have like a code or a number or something that you can then rate the referees from. He runs in the hallway after them. His son, who was in attendance, then shortly after follows. Now, this is the part where it's he said, she said. But I know that man, and I know his son. And I was there the day that ref called him a boy with the most rage filled in his eye. Never met Jamal. Never fucking met him. And just had this eternal hatred. Now, before I get into the details of this, just as a precursor, we were the team with the most African Americans on it. I think that year we only had I think we had 5 guys of the 15 were white that were on the team. And then we had a couple extra African American players that were reserves. Jamal and his son were greeted when they went out to the referees to ask them Jamal asked him for respect and said, "Hey, I need to get your information." And the man put his hands on Jamal Now, he didn't punch him. He had his hands on him, was shoving, whatever. They were both shoving. And Jamal's son saw this other man with his hands on his dad and stepped in. And then from there, the reports were the next day that the referee was punched by my coach in the face and beaten brutally. And what had actually happened, from the people that I know and trust, was that the man had hands on him, and then when Jamal's son saw what had happened, he'd stepped in and moved the elderly man, or not elderly man, he was old, young enough to be reffing, I guess. And the two of them got in a scuffle. The white guy ref falls down and hits Jamal's son. Then an old woman tries to help this white man up, not Jamal's son, and he thought it was Jamal coming to fight him, so he kicked this old lady's knee out. Now, we leave the school, Jamal and his son with us, and we go back to the school. We're getting ready for practice the next day, and our administrator and our athletic director come in and explain to us that Jamal will no longer be with the team. And then we find out that afterwards, the cops were called. After we'd left, the cops were called. Got quotes from everybody except for us and Jamal. And then flash forward a year, and I'm watching my coach be incarcerated. And in the words of the judge, he did not think Jamal was a bad man. He did not think that what had happened was entirely wrong, but he could not let the city of Waukesha know that a man, after committing or having this sort of issue, was being left alone. Translation, since Jamal was sentenced to 60 days in jail with Huber after the first 3, he basically needed him to go to jail, sleep in jail, because that's essentially what he was doing, was just sleeping in fucking jail for 50-something days, so that the city of Waukesha could sleep better at night. That's what he did. That's what they came to the conclusion. There was nothing, the judge did not care about the countless players and other coaches that testified and sent letters on Jamal's behalf. They did not care that the white referee in question was using derogatory slurs towards this man. They didn't care. So that's just a personal thing. That's something that I've experienced myself. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And obviously, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know what you people want. I don't know, how are black people supposed to have true freedom, true justice, equality in this nation? Because can it happen? Can it really happen in the United States? Because this is divisive. This is a divisive topic. People are still trying to make this a bad cop thing. Yes, he is a bad cop. But why is he a cop? Why are there 3 other guys there that aren't charged with anything? Why is he only charged with 3rd-degree murder? I don't quite think people are grasping the situation. Now, friend of mine asked if we would also comment on Breonna Taylor's death, which recently just happened, and sent me the link because I other than seeing her name on the list earlier, didn't even know what was going on. Now I'll just read you guys the report real quick, or the quick version from the New York Times. Shortly after midnight on March 13th, Louisville police were executing a search warrant used a battering ram to crash into the apartment of Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old African-American emergency room technician. After a brief confrontation, they fired several shots, striking her 8 times. She's now According to the Courier Journal, the police were investigating two men that they believed to be selling drugs out of the house and had a search warrant from the judge that was a no-knock warrant, and so therefore they did not need to identify themselves or give any warning before entering the home. And that's all that we get to know. That's all it took to kill her, to end her life, right? But people need haircuts. People really need haircuts. And I want to know from you guys. I want to know, what do you think people are supposed to do? What's the right way to protest? Because I don't think there is one. I don't know how there can be one. And I don't know when this stops. I don't know that this does stop. I don't know that it should stop, because for white people, you can just ignore it, right? Until you can't. Until those people who do make up, they make up a large portion of this society. They're such crucial members, contributing members to this society. And we try and make it seem like they're not. We try and put them in positions where it makes it harder for them. And I just don't know what you want. What do white people want to get out of this? What are you getting out of this by not enforcing change? Now, I'll say this. I don't know where this would stop, because I don't know what would bring justice. I don't know how could I know? How could I know how to fix generations of both literal and mental slavery, as well as what we're doing today, which is not a whole lot better? So how could I know what the end of this would be, right? And I will say, in regards to the whole looting and shit, when people are saying that, like, don't burn the businesses, you're right, dude. If you're going to burn anything down, it should be the police stations. It should be the public offices. These people, the government doesn't work for these people. The government isn't set up. The system isn't set up to give black people a fair chance. To give anybody a fair chance except for white people. And it's not a fair chance. We have the advantage. And yeah, that's man. Ooh, yeah. I'm sorry. It's when you go on Facebook and you go on Twitter and you see fucking Blue Lives Matter or All Lives Matter. I don't think you guys are understanding that this is 100% a protest to Black Lives Matter. I saw a really great analogy that somebody used, that yes, all lives do matter, but if my house is on fire, or someone's house is on fire, and the fire department shows up, and you say, whoa, wait, all houses matter. That your house isn't on fire right now, dumbass. These people need help. These people need a voice. These people need an opportunity to be seen and heard as equal. Our president hasn't done anything to help the issue. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. That's the president of the United States. Said that. We just lost a viewer right when I bring up Trump, Daddy. There you go. It's ridiculous. People don't want to be critical of this man at all. His support and that's why he didn't want to speak out last night until after until this morning, when he could hiding in a bunker. Why not address the fucking people? Don't tweet that Antifa is now, he wants it to be recognized as a terrorist organization. Yet, did you know that the and of course the fire alarm every time on this podcast, every time. Did you know that the Ku Klux Klan is still not considered a fucking terrorist group? Is not recognized as a terrorist group. But yes, the people protesting the government is the problem. The government that's failing them. The government that does not work for them. I'm just at a loss for words, man. I'm just at a loss right now. This is another post that I've been seeing getting shared around. I normally don't post shit like this, but some of you ignorant kids need to be educated. Yes, George Floyd was wrongfully killed by a police officer. That officer has now been charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter, which he should have been. All 4 officers present were also fired. Literally the whole country, including President Trump and other police officers, believe the officer should spend the rest of his life in prison. But y'all don't care about that. Y'all see a white cop kills a black man and try to say the whole damn police force is racist. Then protest by burning buildings, robbing stores, and attacking police on site. Last time I checked, that was called rioting. I don't agree with what that officer did, but I stand behind every officer out there now who has a target on their back. God, please watch over our boys in blue. Yeah, I don't think the boys in blue need anybody watching over them when they're showing up to the protests with guns and SWAT gear plus riot shields, and the other people are showing up in fucking shirts that say I can't breathe, in fucking t-shirts. Like, let me show up to a basketball game that I know is going to be a basketball game with a fucking rocket launcher and be like, don't be scared. Just chill. What? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck would happen if the protesters showed up in full SWAT gear? Didn't even do anything. It just, they stood there. Trump would have them fucking start shooting. Or the cops would start shooting in general. Could you imagine if we armed protesters, if we just gave them a shield, gave everybody a shield? It's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous that the double standard is it blows me away. And on the same note of the policemen or the protesters being armed, the people showed up to the protests about wanting to go get haircuts and work again with AK-47s and AR-15s, walked up to the Capitol, antagonized police officers, and no one died. Not a single person died. Not a single person was shot with a rubber bullet. No president called them criminals or thugs. I didn't see people threatening to go out to Kenosha and bring their gun to help back up the cops. Weird. It's sickening. It's sickening. I had a couple other things I wanted to talk about with you guys. Am I missing anything from you guys that I've been saying behind the scenes? Is there anything I haven't said? Because there's a couple other things I had to say, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. When it comes to the elections, right? And people wanted to make this very political, and it is for whatever reason, because you got one. I don't think either one of our fucking options for the main office, right? The President of the United States. I don't think either one of the options are very good. But I do know that one of them didn't say to shoot people for protesting. And then 3 weeks before that, praise another group of people. Two distinct groups for protesting. So keep that in mind. As well as we gotta do stuff at a local level. The President of the United States is not, and this is the only, I'm not giving Trump a break, but this is the only thing, like, the President of the United States doesn't control that people are racist or not. They don't control that bad cops get away with this, right? We need to start taking the smaller offices, the smaller positions in this government seriously. Otherwise, we need to get rid of this fucking system because it's not working. We either need to get the right people in there or get the system out because it's not working. And And when it comes to these people, what are we saying? We haven't had good options for presidential choice in a long time. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't think that any we need we need things to get done. We need things to get done. We don't need people that lie every single time they go up to speak to us or cower and don't rise to the occasion at all when it's time to talk to us. We need people that are actually going to get things done. How are we going to change this, right? Why are police officers, how long does it take to become a police officer? You want to look that up real quick? Look that up and get back to me on that. But I know it doesn't take as long as it does to become a doctor or a pilot. I think is it Chris Rock? Chris Rock with that joke that I've been seeing all over the place. That is, yeah, it's hard to be a cop. Really hard to be a cop. But imagine if American Airlines, and this is his joke, so I'm blatantly stealing it right now. Imagine if American Airlines came out and said, yeah, most of our pilots are good. Most of them land. Some of them don't. Would that be acceptable? When a doctor fucks up in a surgery that was a routine surgery, they get sued. They lose their job. They get fucking absolutely destroyed. And guess what? They go to school. That happens a lot less than what happens with these police officers, right? Because me saying that now, everybody's gonna jump in the comments. All the people that are Blue Lives Matter are gonna be like, "Well, look at he's getting charged." Blah 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 blah. No, that's not the issue. Is that you can become a cop way easier than you can become these other jobs that are, yes, very hard jobs to do. But I don't think that there's a harder job than being a police officer. At least not right. Not right now. I don't think that I can think of anything off the top of my head. And 21 weeks. 21 weeks, I think. That's what we've got from Ariana. Now, I don't know that that's true or not. Johnny, did you look it up? What is it? 21 weeks? Just look up like 2 years of it's like a college course, right? That you can get a degree to teach children. We don't let you teach children unless you get 4 years of school. We don't let you say, okay, yeah, how does that make you feel? As a psychologist or a fucking, I can't even speak now. You cannot be a psychologist without a 4-year degree, but you can be a cop. I don't know. There's real change that needs to be had. And the people that are more upset, and again, if you took you until you saw a building burning down or until you saw the American flag being burned to say something, then you're part of the problem. I'm not saying that those things are right, but I'm saying that if you didn't speak out when this man was brutally killed for no reason, then that's the problem. Okay, what about the officers that watched Floyd get murdered? I'm disgusted. They should be charged. Their duty. That's what I said earlier in the show. Absolutely, they should be charged. I don't know in what world you can listen. I literally can't finish. I've watched the video. It is so hard to finish that video because of how long this man is trying to hold on for his life. And these other 3 individuals watched that happen. You can't tell me that dude is wrong and that those guys aren't, right? Man, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to talk in circles about this, and I'm sure I'm missing some points because when I'm reading through people's very ignorant statuses, I come up with I get really angry and say a lot of shit, and right now I just don't have it all right in front of me. So I along with all of America mourn George Floyd. I see what's going on, and I am not sure that there isn't a quick fix, and I'm not sure what the fix is yet, other than monumental changes being made. But I know that we can make a difference, and that the people on the other side that are trying to diminish this fight, trying to make it less important than it really is, the people that are trying to sweep this under the rug, to hang out in their Lake Genevas. These people want us to feel like we can't change things. They don't want us to protest because they know what they're doing is wrong. They know what they stand for is evil. We cannot let this fight die until change, real change, has been had. We need all of America needs to be changed. Now that does it for the podcast. I want to say thank you to you guys for listening. Please, I don't care if you share this video for any reason other than to share the links at the bottom, because I want people to see those. Please sign the petition for justice for George Floyd. It takes 10 seconds. And then if you want to check out the other ones, that'd be helpful too. If you want to just share the links, that would be super awesome. We're going to now take 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence to honor the amount of time that the officer was kneeling on George Floyd's neck, and as he held on to life. I'm sorry that this isn't super funny, entertaining, shit like that. I'm just not really in the mood to do that today. I love you guys. Thank you for listening, and let's work together to really make a difference. All right, do you want to start the 8 minutes? thank you guys. Um, Abolish the police, fuck white supremacy, and rest in peace to George Floyd. Let's keep fighting the good fight. Um, we all need love, and we need to be together more than ever right now. If you guys are considering protesting or anything around here, please hit me up. Let's go. I'm still pretty worried about coronavirus as well. I know that didn't just go away, so I'm gonna be being safe while I protest. But people's lives are at stake here. So thank you guys for listening. Please share the links and donate, sign petitions if you can. Like I said, love you guys. I'll see you.